Luke 13:10. One Sabbath day, as Jesus was teaching in a synagogue, he saw a woman who had been crippled by an evil spirit. She had been bent double for 18 years and was unable to stand up straight. When Jesus saw her, he called her over and said, "Dear woman, you are healed of your sickness." Then he touched her, and instantly she could stand straight. How she praised God. But the leader in charge of the synagogue was indignant that Jesus had healed her on the Sabbath day. No less than 14 times the gospel writers included accounts of Jesus healing on the Sabbath, so this must be an important issue. It is unlikely that Jesus healed only on the Sabbath, but it was when he did heal on the Sabbath that he came under heavy criticism from the Jewish leaders. The religious leaders of Jesus' day were obsessed with externals because it's actually possible to keep the external rules. Mark 2:27, Then Jesus said to them, "The Sabbath was made to meet the needs of the people, not the people to meet the requirements of the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord, even over the Sabbath." Jesus provides the needed clarity. The Sabbath, 1 day and 7 for rest, was instituted way back in the Genesis account of creation. The day of rest that God observed on the 7th day of creation was to teach his newly created man and woman that reserving 1 day and 7 is necessary for rest and reflection on all that God has done. Genesis 2:3, And God blessed the 7th day and declared it holy, because it was the day when he rested from all his work of creation. Christians do not observe the Sabbath. We observe the Lord's Day on Sunday, and we do not adhere to the no-work rule, or none of the churches would be able to preach, teach, serve, lead, etc. What we do on Sunday is to cease from our normal activities and spend some time in corporate worship, reflecting on who God is and on what he has done. While God modeled a Sabbath rest for us in Genesis, the Sabbath that was included in the 10 Commandments was for a sign between God and Israel. Exodus 31:16, the people of Israel must keep the Sabbath day by observing it from generation to generation. This is a covenant obligation for all time. It is a permanent sign of my covenant with the people of Israel. Therefore, the 4th commandment is the only commandment that is not repeated in the New Testament. Luke 15 provides 3 parables for us that are related. In the parable of the lost sheep, we find that even if 1 in 100 sheep are lost and apart from the fold, the shepherd cares and risks his life for that one lost sheep. In the parable of the lost coin, we see that even if one of the owner's 10 coins are lost, the owner will work her fingers to the bone to find the one that was lost. When we come to the parable of the prodigal son, he is not described at any time as lost. We are simply given the description of his life when he decided to leave the farm. Prodigal does not mean wayward, as many assume. It means someone who spends recklessly and wastefully. By virtue of being born into his father's family, he had lots of resources at his disposal, but he did not want to be restrained in any way with how he used his father's money. When he tells his father he wants to leave the farm and do the things he thinks will make him happy, his father does not openly object. In short order, the son is broke financially, and more importantly, he is broken spiritually and wants to come back home. He even recognizes his sin and says, "I am no longer worthy to be called your son." This is how we know his heart is in the right place. He had no right to expect that his father would take him back even as a servant, much less as a son. It seems from the text that his father was waiting and watching for his son to return. For we read this, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. His father rejoices over his return. He does not make him beg for his forgiveness, and even celebrates his son's return. The story of the prodigal son just happens to be one of the most reenacted scenes in all the Bible. Testimony after testimony of kids raised in the church give their prodigal son accounts of their quest for the good life in the things of the world. They find that they were chasing after the wind and found the whirlwind. The testimonies we love to hear are the ones of those who have come back, and the prayers we still pray are for the ones who are still out there chasing the wind. A question for us: why do we not celebrate the lives of those who have never gone prodigal on us? They've remained true. And what message do we send when there is no celebration for those who stand against evil without wavering? Points to ponder. 14 times the gospel writers included accounts of Jesus healing on the Sabbath. Christians do not observe the Sabbath. We observe the Lord's Day on Sunday. Why do we not celebrate the lives of those who have not gone prodigal in us? This class, and indeed the entire school, is dedicated to helping others see that God is bigger than we think and better than we know. To get to the next video, make a note of the class number for this recording, then search for the next one. Here's a sample. If this video is number L01.1, then the next one is L01.2. And remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow on Rumble.